Hallo und willkommen hier auf Roland Media auf Wild at Heart. Hello and welcome here on Roland Media at Wild at Heart. Yeah, warum spreche ich Deutsch und Englisch? Why I'm speaking German and English today is because we have a couple talking about their story. And actually, it's about helping men how you can conquer a woman's heart by opening up as a man. And it's a couple. She's from Germany. He's from Cyprus, living in the UK. And unfortunately, Costas doesn't speak German, so we decided to do it in English. So, ich habe ein Video heute oder ein Gespräch heute mit Nicole aus Deutschland und Costa, er ist Zypriote, lebt in England. Die beiden haben sich kennengelernt, lieben gelernt. Und da Costas kein Englisch spricht, Entschuldigung, kein Deutsch spricht, haben wir entschieden, das Ganze auf Englisch aufzunehmen. Hoffe, es ist okay für dich. Spannende Story, bleib dran, die beiden sind gleich bei mir und wie gesagt, gibt viel zu lernen. Die Story ist ganz einfach, Mann, öffne dein Herz. Und es geht einfach darum, ja, wie ein Mann eine Frau erobert durch das Öffnen seines Herzens, was sie total attraktiv fand. Spannende Story, bis gleich. Hello, dear Nicole. Hello, dear Costas. Great to see you guys. Actually, it's a premiere for me to interview or to have a conversation with a couple. I'm a little bit excited about it, to be honest. A little bit nervous, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So welcome
Me
first. Welcome,
too.
welcome. So welcome. Hello. How are you guys?
Thank you.
Yeah, we're fine. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here as a couple. For us, it's the first time as well to be interviewed as a couple.
Okay.
Yeah, and for me, it's the first time to actually have an interview, so it's quite exciting, also a bit fearful.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Because I was very looking forward for our conversation because, I think that most couples need or are searching for a role model because some couples are really struggling. From my friends and my brother, and not all of them want to give up, and so they're looking for role models. How you handle your relationship, because we all know a relationship is like life; it's a roller coaster. But before we dive into a little bit deeper, maybe we start with your own stories. How you met, what's your background, and why does it work out good? What's your secret?
Can you go first?
Yeah, I can go first. Well, actually, I wrote a book about our story in love. So it's a German book for German-speaking people. Because I found our story so amazing, because different cultures, we came out of different cultures, and we met in Cyprus, and so Costas is from Cyprus, but he's now living in England, and still our relationship survived. And why it survived, we're going to talk about today.
Okay. So you're living a long distance relationship.
Yes,
Yes.
so far, yes.
Okay. How about your story, Costa?
Well, my story, I've been separate 21 years ago. I was in a relationship with another lady, but I wasn't very happy with it. So it was definitely something missing from my relationship. And when I met Nicole on the beach, it was completely, I didn't really thought it's going to be a relationship. I just thought it'd be a bit get to know the lady and spend some time and conversation and spend my days. I was in Cyprus on a holiday for a couple of months there. I was looking for conversation and communicate with someone. I was feeling a bit lonely. So when I saw Nicole on the beach, I decided to go and talk to her, and that's how it started.
Yeah. So it started with a conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, actually, it started with a board game, which I didn't want to take part in. But in the end, we played this board game, and then it started with a conversation. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So when you both went back. Nicole, you went back to Germany. Costas went back to England, and then you keep going communicating, or
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
You want to?
The sun is yes, but basically, 2 days later, I moved back to England, and Nicole, she went back to Germany. Obviously, we swapped numbers during the conversation on the beach, and after we met in the afternoon. So that's how it started, by swapping phone numbers, and things start to explode and get better and better. And we found a lot of things between us. There was match what I was looking for. And yeah, that's how it started. And nearly 2 years later now, 2 years now, we're together and we're planning moving and living together. So yeah, it sort of seems to be very, very good at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, and the interesting thing was that when we met, and then he flew back. I had another 2 or 3 days, so we said goodbye. And for me, it was like, that's it. Nothing has happened, and I didn't want anything to happen because I was married, 3 children, and it was, yeah, we had nice conversations when we met there. And I actually just gave him my telephone number because he had made some photos, so I wanted to receive them. And when he said, well, we can stay in contact, I thought, yeah, okay. I know that then you write 2 or 3 times and then that's it. So I went home without thinking that we would stay in contact. But we did, and Costas really opened his heart by writing to me, and he wrote exactly how he felt. And that opened my heart. Yeah. So actually, I fell in love by writing on WhatsApp and not by seeing him there. For me, it was just, yeah, it was nice to talk to somebody and to drink a glass of wine. We did a yoga session together because I'm a yoga teacher. But for me, it was, that's it, nothing more, and goodbye. But it came out very, very different because Costas really opened his heart.
And I think that absolutely makes a difference. And you know, most couples when they meet, and I remember back in my past, I was married 2 times. You know, you see somebody, you feel attracted, you fall in love, everything is sparkling, and then the fire goes down, it gets slows down, and then, you know, Costas, I know from my point of view as a man, you know, the lady, after a while, she's saying, oh shit, he's not the prince on the white horse. And when I start opening up now, feeling vulnerable, oh shit, I'm weaker. I'm weaker and weaker and weaker. So I don't know, stay cool. I don't want to lose everything. But so what I understand from you guys is that you started the conversation. It was not falling in love. So it was a process, an ongoing process. And as you said, Nicole, as Costa started open up in his heart, talking about himself, you fell in love with this. And I think this is so important that men understand. This is how intimacy starts, is opening up. And of course, also have a standing. And Costa knowing, okay, I want to stay. I don't give up. I stay in contact. Because, you know, some men, they approach a girl or a lady and they're not successful in the first minute. And then they turn away and they said, oh shit, it happens. And they go to the next one, or the next one, or the next flower, to the next flower, and to the next flower. And I think, what was it in your mind, Costa, when you went back to London and you said, okay, I start communicating, I want to keep going?
Yes, when I went back, to England, obviously, I like the conversation I had with Nicole. What we were talking about, it was something like what it was missing from me. And I found it very interesting. I like what she thought about the things in life and what she was into. She was into yoga. She was into very be calm in her life, no stress. And that's what I was looking for. So I enjoy that conversation. And I thought, oh, it's like what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So when I went back to England, we started communicating by WhatsApp, and it went deeper and deeper. And as it was going deeper and deeper, things were opening up, and my heart was reopening. Nicole, she was responding. So I found that very interesting and exciting.
I have a question, Costas. Was it the first time that you opened up your mind? Because, you know, I guess we are a generation that are not trained or educated to open up your mind. How did it start? Did you start, okay, I'd be blank. I'd be blank. I show everything inside. Process?
I always open my heart, but it seems like Nicole, she was receiving and responding.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that very interesting. And that's what I kept going into it.
Okay. Okay. So you started slowly, open up a little bit, look what's coming back. What's the feedback? Is interesting? Is it
the feedback? It was interesting.
Okay.
Yes. And my feelings started changing bit by bit. And yeah, it went really deep.
Well, but I have to say something with this. You opened your heart a lot right at the beginning. So I remember, because I wrote the book about it, so I put some of the WhatsApp messages I put into the book. And one of the first messages he sent to me, he was saying, I never experienced something like this, and I felt so good with you. We had such a good conversation. So he was like going back to when we had met, and we only talked, nothing else happened. But he reflected on that, and he told me how he felt about that. And that was really very special for me, because I think normally when we meet somebody, it's like, yeah, you talk and then you look into the future. So what's next? What's next? But he went back and reflected on that and really showed me how he felt. And because he showed or wrote about how he felt, because he could have lost a lot if I hadn't been interested. So he really opened up his heart, and he really made himself vulnerable by opening up so much. And I could have said, well, yeah, it was nice, but I'm not interested. And in the beginning, I had a touch of that. I didn't say it in that way. I really was very, very touched by his words. But at that point, I didn't think of leaving my family. So I thought there's no point in going into it. But because Costas was so open about his feeling, of course, he was touching my heart. And so I just opened up to my feelings as well. Because he was, by that, he was kind of telling me, I'm opening up and I'm ready to lose everything or nothing. So here he was showing himself like naked through his words. And so it was for me to respond to that. And of course, it was very inviting, and in a way it was easy because he didn't hold back.
And not pushing.
No, and not pushing. He was just speaking about his own feelings, that, yeah, he had never experienced anything like that, and he felt so nice, so secure. We had so many beautiful conversations, and that touched, of course, my feelings as well. And I think a lot of men or even women wouldn't do that because they would fear, well, what if the other side doesn't want me? So they think more about the action of the other person than of their own feelings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I guess most people are really scared to open up because it's a kind of risky. As you say, you can get a rejection and then you feel hurt. Was it helpful for you, Costa, to open up your heart because it was on a distance?
Sorry, what's your question again?
Was it helpful for you to open up your heart because it was a distance conversation?
No, I don't think it was of the distance. I think even if we were just together, we'd open up because that's the way I am. I usually open up for myself and I talk about my feelings and about my past and my experience. So no, I don't think it was because it was a distance. That's me. That was me.
Cool. So you would also have done it face to face. Let's propose you've been living in the same city and you meet there again, and then you would do it face to face and see.
I will do the same way. I'll be the same. I will react the same way. I will open up my heart because I felt the lady, she was listening to me, Nicole. She was, taking what I was saying, and I really liked that. And as I said, I just opened up completely and I went for it. I didn't have any fears of feeling ashamed in case she reject me or whatever. And yeah, I just went for it.
I love it. I love it. I met a lady a few months ago before I left my home, Austria. Actually, this is half age of mine, but we also started with just communicating, opening up, communicating, nothing else in between, nothing else. I love this approach, because it's a total different approach. As I said before, normally you meet, feel attracted, bang, boom, miracle, sparkling, yeah, goosebumps, I don't know, butterflies in your stomach, and then after a while it goes down, 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 down. But it's the other way around because you're building up something. It's about building up something, building up trust and get to know each other and building up trust. And because I believe trust is so important in a relationship, really trusting each one and being honest and being authentic.
Yeah. And of course we experienced that as well, that yeah, at one point I withdrew because I was feeling afraid, because at that time I didn't really want to leave my family, my at that time husband. Of course I didn't want to leave him. So I thought, well, I better finish this. So I even told him. But Costa's always held the energy. He let the room open. So after a few hours or a day, I would think, well, but my feelings are so strong. So I could go back into the room again because he had held the door open. And unconsciously, because obviously I didn't plan it, but I did the same when he withdrew. Because for us both, it was very strong. The feelings were very strong. And so, yeah, it was a time where he withdrew and went out of the room. And I had the energy as well. So I wasn't or he as well, feeling, well, you stop the relationship and now I'm annoyed with you, or I'm sad or whatever. No, we both held the room open. And when the other one wanted to come back, we said, okay, come in, let's talk about it. And I think that was a really, really very, very important point, to not feel disappointed of the other one or mistrust him or so. So to say, okay, obviously something was happening in him or in me, and we needed some space. So we needed to go out of the room we had been in together because the energy was so strong. So we had to go out and to kind of recover, rethink, reflect, and then go back in. And I think with a lot of people in relationship, they would be disappointed. They would say, well, he stopped the relationship, or he, at some point, he even blocked me. So, but I always had this feeling that was what is between us is so strong. I won't let these things stop it.
Okay. So when I understand you clearly, even when you didn't meet before the second time, the conversation in between was a roller coaster too, up and down, back and forwards, back and forth. So how long was the communication going on until you decided, okay, let's meet again?
Well, it wasn't so long.
4 or 5 weeks, I think.
I think even less. So yeah, end of November we met in Cyprus, and after Christmas we met again.
Okay, so there was a very intense conversation in between these 5 weeks.
Yeah, it was on a
Yes.
daily basis and for hours, really, on a daily basis. We used to spend hours on the phone.
Okay, okay. And what was the trigger? What was the trigger to say, okay, let's meet, let's go in and see what's going to happen? And how was it to see the first time in face again after 5 weeks?
Well, for me it was, I wasn't quite sure because when we had met, I liked him, but I hadn't fallen in love. I had fallen in love when I was back in Germany and reading his messages. So when we first met, I thought, well, will I really have these feelings to a man I don't know, who I only saw on Zoom and yeah, a few hours in November? How is it going to be? And so yeah, we had an apartment together, and so it was like going full in. Yeah, so I was a bit afraid, but I thought, well, we are only going to meet for 3 or 4 days. I think 4 days it was, so I will manage, even if I would think, oh no, I don't think in reality it's the same.
Okay.
But it wasn't like that. It was actually quite the contrary. We met and it was feeling like, yeah, we just belong together. Yeah. So for you, it was different, wasn't it?
Well, it was different because obviously I was still, as you said, Nicole was still with her ex-husband. I was still with my ex-partner. I was supposed to go to USA, but for some reason during that COVID time, I didn't manage to because of my passport. But I was looking forward not to go there in a way. I wanted to, yes, so it was quite great. It didn't happen. Um, so I was excited to go and meet Nicole because obviously during the conversation on a daily basis, I wanted to see her again. And when we met in Cyprus, yeah, I felt quite comfortable, and I wanted to get to know her more by spending time together. Yeah, it was a bit fearful, but it seems to be all very comfortable and yeah, ready to go for it.
Guys, do you remember who was the first to suggest let's meet?
I think it was Nicole. I think it was Nicole. It was Nicole. That's it. She done the first step. Let's go.
She wanted to do double rasa. Okay, let's find it out. Stop communicating. Let's find it out. Let's go for it. What's happening?
Let's go for it. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, and I had the feeling I have to find out because I was, yeah, I didn't have. I was having the feeling I was doing wrong because, yeah, obviously I was married, and I knew this can't go on like this forever. So I have to find out if it's worth it. If yeah, yeah. So it was good that we did it, and yeah, it was a coincidence that actually I can remember when he told me that he was going to America, and then he found out because he didn't feel informed right or something that he wasn't going. So I thought, okay, that's our chance. So the universe has meant that he wouldn't go to America and we could meet then.
And then you had a deep, long conversation. Did you make future plans in the beginning, or how was it before? I said you said you spent 4 days together. So did you talk about your future? Did you talk?
No, not really.
I remember. No. We just spent the 4 days together and see how the relationship was going to work out or not. But I remember it was very, very nice. We had a lovely time those 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Very touchy. Yeah, it was different. For me, it was very different. I felt Nicole like it was, you know, the person I was looking for it. To me, he was very calm, as I said, very relaxed. She was listening to what I was saying. And I was very interested to her life, future, her vision she had. Yes, I was looking for something like that. And I think the more she told me about herself, the more I went into it.
And after these 4 days, it was clear that you meet up again, or you said, okay, thanks, was nice. Let's see what's happening. Let it open, or it was clear to go further.
No, we didn't arrange anything, but we felt so connected, like on a soul's level. I had the feeling like our souls have been looking for each other. Now we're connected. So in a way, I knew we are connected. So we didn't arrange anything. So it was very open, which was in a way fearful as well for me. But because we felt so connected, it wasn't like, will we see each other? I just knew we are going to see each other. I don't know when and how, but we are going to see each other. And when I came back, I very quickly separated because I wanted to be clear about that. And then I think middle of January, I said to him, well, I could come to England now. You were a bit
surprised, quick. Yeah.
Okay. Costa, you said you made like this. I was like, oh fuck, the shit is happening.
Yeah, it was a bit too much in the beginning, but it went very well. Everything went well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite fast. I mean, meeting in Cyprus in November, meeting again after Christmas, and the mid of January, ping, pum.
Yeah. But I could feel that he was like going back and he didn't feel secure about that. And because I felt it, I had booked the flight, I had arranged everything. And then, yeah, because it didn't feel good that he was like withdrawing a bit and wasn't so happy, apparently, that I was coming. So I got to the point in the middle of the night, I thought, well, I'm going to cancel the flight and I'm going to cancel the whole relationship. So I did that. So I canceled the flight. But after 2 days or so, we spoke again. So that was like a situation where Costa held the energy and let the room open so I could go back again. And so after 3 or 4 days, I rebooked the flight again. And I was very fearful to go to England because I didn't know how I would feel being where he lives, and he had to work at that time. So yeah, it was quite challenging for us both.
Okay. A question I have for you guys, because now you're together, it's 2 years gone. How do you deal with conflict? Because how you deal with conflict? So when there's an arguing, how do you master this?
You understand?
No, you can go first.
Well, mostly it's I think we have a conflict. Mostly it's not that Costa thinks we have a conflict. So I have something in my mind, I get annoyed, or I'm disappointed about something. And then I tell him. And yeah, most of the time, well, you can say how you react.
Well, I think I'm quite open about it, and once she does talk about it, obviously sometimes I find it I don't realize, but I'm quite glad she opened about it and we talk about the conflict. And obviously we found solution and we understand each other. Why is that happening? So it's been able to communicate and put it on the table and not just hold it back and argue about it and going on about it. Just put it on the table. What was the issue? And we find the solution and we understand each other. Sometimes the majority of the time was like a misunderstanding.
Yeah. And I think what's for me a very important point is that when Costa thinks that my argumentation or what I say, what I accuse him of, isn't right in his opinion, then he's very, very clear. Then he will tell me. And in the beginning, of course, I didn't like that because I wanted him to say, oh, Nicole, I'm so sorry. I will change. I will do this. I will do that. So I didn't like that. But it made me realize, okay, he's very clear about that and he's not going to move. So what's in me? So I thought about myself. Why do I think like it's his fault? Is it really his fault? Or maybe I'm just stressed because of this and this and that, and I'm projecting it on him. So it's a bit like this picture of the tree and the I forgot the English word, these pigs who are in the forest and they scrub themselves against the tree trunk. And the tree stands there and the tree is always calm. So we have situations where he reacts like that. So he stays very calm and says, well, I see differently, or don't you think, Nicole, that you actually were very hard? When I accused him of being hard or not listening or so. So for me, that was really good.
Yeah, because I think she couldn't, well, I couldn't see the issue she was having, and it was like my fault. I was thinking maybe a little bit different the way she was thinking. So when she did talk about it, and then I respond back, and I'm trying to explain myself. So in them, it makes sense to both of us. I can't think exactly how she's thinking or the other way around.
Because, you know, guys, normally men go differently through the emotions than women. So men they're more in their mind, looking for they're trying to sort it out for themselves and find a solution. Women, they go through the emotion totally through, and afterwards maybe they have a solution, or they go back to the man and say, okay, help me out on that.
Yeah, I think very often men don't, because they don't talk about their feelings. Then it's difficult to have a conversation about feelings, because when you're annoyed or sad or whatever, angry, then you're showing emotions. But when the other side can't respond to these emotions, then it's very difficult because you can't solve a conflict only through your mind, because it's about feelings. And so it needs somebody who reflects on your feelings and shows his own feelings as well. So when men, I think very often men, they don't know how to respond, so they rather say nothing. And that's like worst case scenario, to say nothing.
I think it's definitely a good idea to show your feelings and explain why you react like that or you felt like that, and open up and just say what you have to say so the other person can listen and analyze it, and then we decide if okay, I think she was right or I think he was right, and just find a solution. But shutting up and moving to the next thing is not a good idea. So if it's a man, I think you have to talk to your partner and open up and explain why you react like that, or why you react like that. So it's important to mention that, so the other person can understand.
I think this is really a process that men have to learn about it and work on it, because most men come in what I call this negative content loop. You know, when they don't feel comfortable, they fall back in the little Costa, the little Roland or whatever. So they're escaping, or they're getting passive, or some of them getting aggressive, that, depending on what patterns to learn to survive in the situation. And I think this is a real, from my point of view, that man really has to learn how to deal with my emotion, and learn to, as you said, Costa, to talk about it, not becoming passive or escaping or whatever.
Yeah, and I think another very important point is that a relationship is about a relationship. So you can have a relationship to your coworker, to your best friend, to your neighbor, whatever. And you can have a relationship to your partner. But being in love is something different. And I think that a lot of women get this mixed up. Not only women, but men as well. But I think especially women. So if he doesn't do that, he doesn't love me. If he doesn't say that, he doesn't love me. If he does that, he doesn't love me. But it's like love is always there. And I think it's more common for men to say, like, well, I always love you, even if you're angry. So.
And I do. I very often say to her, doesn't matter if she's angry or not. I always go around and I say, I love you. I don't care what you think. It's just the way I feel. And that's the important thing. So, I think women, not every person, when you say to somebody, even if she was annoyed with you, if you actually open up and say, well, I do love you. I don't care what you think right now, but I still love you. I don't care what you think. So that makes things a bit more calm. And then she might be able to receive a bit more or go into it. So she will know that, you really love the person, and you're there to find a solution.
Absolutely. I love my princess, I love my beast, I love my dragon.
Yeah.
A question I have to have you guys is, loving somebody, is it that something happens, or it is a decision you make?
What do you think?
That is what
is it something which happens, or is it a decision?
Like being happy, being happy. I believe that to be happy is a decision. I am happy. So I love somebody.
Well, I think it just happens from. Well, I'm 58. I don't know if but I never felt like this the way I'm feeling now. So in love in my life with Nicole, like I felt with my ex-wife or my ex-partner, or other relationships I had. I just never felt that. And at one point I thought, I didn't even know. I thought I was in love in the past. But when I met Nicole, and it really changed my life. I really think now I am in love, because the way you react and the way I feel, I really, really feel it this time. In the past, I thought I was in love, but looking back now, I wasn't. I really discovered a new thing. So it just happened. It wasn't a decision. I just felt. I felt Nicole. This time I really felt. And I felt our soul is so connected, and I'm really feeling in love. And as I said, lots of relationships in the past, but I thought it was in love, but I wasn't. Even with my ex-wife, I thought I was in love with her when I met her, like when we were like 16 years old, as a young teenagers, and but I never felt the same way I'm feeling with Nicole now. I never had that experience. Yeah, it's completely different, and it's so nice.
Yeah, I think what you can say is, like, it's a decision to open your heart. It's a decision to go for this love. It's a decision
to allow yourself as well.
Yeah.
If you, to allow yourself if you feel it. Well, it's because we're feeling it. Because we're feeling in love, we allow ourselves now, as you're saying, to go even further in.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm describing in my book, that in my book, in our story, that we both at different points made the decision to go for this love, to make it like, a main thing in our life. We could have decided differently. I could have decided to stay with my family. He could have decided to stay with his ex-partner or to withdraw because it's too far away, it's too difficult, it's too complicated. Yeah, but we over and over again, we made the decision to go for this love because we could feel it. And I very, very often asked myself, when I got to the point that I thought, oh, it's so complicated, and we only see each other over Zoom, and there were some struggles. But then I thought, well, what do I want in life? Do I want this big love? Do I want to be in love? And I thought, yes. So I went for it. I didn't let the struggles get bigger than the love.
We follow our hearts. We follow our hearts.
Yeah.
I have a question to you, Nicole, for the ladies listening to us. When they meet a man and they're not opening up in the beginning, how much time would you give them? Or you said, okay, he's not opening up. It's never going to happen. Or is it okay? Give him a minute, give him a week, give him a month, and when he's not opening up, bye again. What's your tip?
I would say you should take life like a game, and as long as you enjoy the game, stay in. So you don't have to know, is he going to open up or not? But if you enjoy your time being with him, then it's good. As long as you feel like that, it's good. If you feel annoyed or frustrated, it means you still have an issue. And it could be that it would be good to stay in as well, to find out what kind of issue is there to be solved. And the moment you feel bored and you think, well, yeah, we could meet, but actually, I would like to spend my time a different way. Yeah, he is nice, but actually I feel bored. Then I think that's the moment where you should leave. Step out. But as long as you can feel feelings, you should go for it. Because it means, the man is, it's joyful. The man is waking up.
Okay. And I have an additional question on that, because I know a lot of men around me, and I was the same too. For me, it was difficult to share my emotions, my inner world. And I was in a relationship for 5-6 years, and it broke because she was pushing me. Talk about your emotion. And I said, yeah, I would love to, but I have no fucking idea how to do, because I didn't do it. I have no experience, 40 years, no experience. What's your tip for women? How can women support their men to get into their feelings, to be aware about the feelings, acknowledge them, and express them? Because pushing is not working, especially not for me.
No. What would you say?
Well, I don't think it's a great idea, as you said. The woman or the man keep pushing you all the time, because obviously put pressure on you and makes you feel uncomfortable. I think a bit of pressure sometimes it might be good, but not too much, because it's like pushing the other person away.
Yeah, maybe so, because you said you experienced that and you just didn't know how to do it. And so I think the challenge for the woman is to show him when he does it. So for example, if you would say, oh, I really enjoyed this day, you could say, well, see, you can talk about your feelings. You just talked about your feelings. Or if you would say like, oh, I'm so fed up with my coworker, you could say, see, here you are talking about your feelings, so that the man understands, that's what is meant by talking about your feelings.
So,
because I think everybody talks about their feelings, but men shut down when it comes to the relationship.
Yeah, and then they feel like they're caught in a trap. They're caught in a trap, and then they go. The more they push from outside, they go deeper and deeper. So you mean encouraging, but it's a positive encouraging, but the other by giving positive feedback when he expresses emotion, and keep going, encouraging, and not pushing when he does not.
Yes, and of course, women say that because they want to know more about the man, but very often they want to hear specific things. So they don't want to hear that he's angry or annoyed with her. No, he wants whatever she wants to hear. But if a woman wants a man to open up, she has to invite all the feelings.
Yeah.
So you could even ask like, well, how are you feeling now? And if he would say, oh, I don't know, you could say, well, do you like me at this moment? Or are you annoyed with me? Are you disappointed or what? So you open up by saying like, you can tell me whatever you want. Everything is okay. And I remember, because Costa doesn't get angry very often. But once he got angry, and of course I wasn't like inviting this, but I thought, oh, that's good. He's getting angry. But he was angry with me at that moment. But it was like two minds. One mind was saying, or one voice was saying, oh, it's good. He's coming out of his shell. And the other one was saying like, but I don't want him to be angry with me. But for me, it was important that he showed his feelings. So if a woman wants a man to show his feelings, she has to be open for all the feelings.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Costa, what helps you to be open? What's your tip? What's your tip from men? What does a man need to open up from your perspective?
Well, as long as you feel your partner is there to listen to you, it shouldn't be a problem to open up, because if you don't open to the people you think they love you and they're there to listen to you, it shouldn't be an issue. But you should be open up. Any man should be open up and express himself, how he feels and how he thinks, and share the conversation. Because if you don't open up, you will never be able to find the solution. Open up, talk about your feelings, about your heart, about your experience, and yeah, just go for it. You have to open up.
Yeah.
So here's the book. I wanted to share the book.
We'll have a link in the subscription of the video. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's our story where I think people, men or women, can learn from us how we did it.
Because, our experience.
Yeah, because it was a lot of up and down. It wasn't like falling in love and everything was fine. It wasn't like that at all. So there were a lot of fears, and yeah, and so if somebody wants to know how we cope with conflicts and fears, then that's the book to read.
That's the book to read. And we're going to have it in the subscription. Actually, it's available in German. But anyway, okay. Hey, guys, thank you so much for sharing your story, for opening up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I guess this can help a lot of couples.
Yeah, thank you for your
Thank you, Roland.
Good questions.
And don't forget to mention our book. As you said, our story, this is very important. It's our experience, and I'm sure it can help a lot of people's relationships as well. Yeah. As Nicole said, it's not always been perfect. But as long as you believe and feel love is there, just go for it. Go for your heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, too.
All the best for the future.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was the story of Nicole and Costa. Ja, wir haben es in Englisch gemacht, weil es einfacher war, weil Costa kein Deutsch spricht. Jetzt spreche ich auch wieder Deutsch. Und ja, das Buch auf Deutsch ist unten in der Beschreibung drinnen. Wenn ihr Fragen habt, gerne in den Kommentaren drinnen. Entweder mich oder direkt an Nicole. Daumen hoch, Video teilen, Video liken, Kanal abonnieren. Vielen, vielen Dank. Und ja, wenn ihr eine Story habt als Paar, seid ihr herzlich willkommen, eure Geschichte zu erzählen, wenn ihr Lust dazu habt. Dann einfach bei mir melden. Vielen, vielen Dank. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Euer Roland von Roland Media. Thanks a lot and bye bye.